Greetings, beautiful nerds. Welcome to our episode of Shadows of Ashcaleen, exploring the homebrew world of Odromia following the catastrophic fall of the city of Ashcaleen. I'm excited to continue this journey with this cast of characters as they sojourn through this world, encountering all manner of new and exciting adventures. But who better to introduce themselves than our wonderful cast that you have come to know and love, starting with Fig.
Hello all, I am Rain. I go by Virgo Rain on Instagram and on TikTok for all of my cosplay and mermaiding adventures. And tonight I will be playing, let me see. I will be playing Fig, chaotic, silly satyr, who is a Sorlock.
Although it would be very on brand for you to suddenly just be like, and Fig is a shapeshifter, and they pull away the mask, and they are now an Aarakocra paladin. I don't know. Actually, that sounds pretty dope.
Actually, yeah, it does.
Right?
I rolled a die, and this is what it said. Good luck.
Jess.
Hello, I'm Jessica. I go by iSneezestars online in places like TikTok and Instagram, and I will be playing Elindra Shadowghast, the party's Hellfire Warlock.
Indeed.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello. Hi, I'm Pyrea. You can find me on all socials as Pyrea. I am playing the Battle Master Atara Velour Tiefling? ?
Battlemaster is perpetually my favorite.
It's really cool. It's pretty good.
If I'm playing a martial class, I'm playing a fighter Battlemaster. That's what I'm doing.
It's got flavor the same way like spells do to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm used to playing a caster, so it's like having all the the maneuvers. It's like, oh, it's like kind of like a spell without the glitter.
Yeah, you just have to get kind of close to do it. So yeah. And of course, as always, I am your friendly neighborhood dungeon master, Andy, aka Mr.DanDyDM, and I can be found on the socials, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. If you happen to come across this episode and you enjoy it, please consider going all the way back to episode 1 or wherever you left off to figure out how our amazing characters got to where they are now, which is somewhere cold. Dun, 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 dun. Also, please consider going off to my YouTube channel and seeing some of the other shows that I currently run, like The Survivors of Ashcaleen and Our Flag Means Doom. We do, of course, appreciate all of you who have liked and subscribed thus far. And now that we've got our introductions out of the way, let us once more delve deep into the shadows of Ashcaleen. Fig. The air is bone-shatteringly cold here. You have just come off of the platform, the teleportation circle, with the guards staring at you and seeing you with your Hellfire companion. And
she was invisible.
I was invisible.
Yeah.
She was invisible.
Uh-huh.
The guards
nobody
only
sees us.
see Elindra and they only see Pi. That is right. Thank you for reminding me.
It's canon. I am in the city.
But who was I plastered to? I was walking.
You were staying close to both of us
That's
to
right.
try and avoid.
You
your
were trying
clippy
to you were trying to hide your
see
your
the
footprints.
steps kind of
Yes. But yes, it is bone-shatteringly cold here. Very different from any environment you have ever been in. It is very difficult not to make your, or to keep for your, it's very difficult to keep your teeth from chattering right now. Although you are trying to desperately, because you don't want to alert anybody to where you are. Elindra and Atara, you both realize that the guards don't see Fig, and they realize, oh, they did come through, right?
Just start like feeling behind me.
Atara starts like
Stretching.
stretching widely.
Yeah.
Fig will just,
Like-
come up behind like Elindra and just kind of like gently like hold like her shoulders like this. And then you can hear the chattering of her teeth in your ear.
Oh no!
I warm myself up
Yes.
Oh,
so that
You're-
you have
you're-
like
Let
I'm
it-
basically your personal
Yes.
hot water bottle.
oh my God. Oh man. Or
Does
you're-
Elindra have like blood on the inside?
So, Elindra can make themselves appear more humanoid than their actual form.
Okay.
Their true form is a being of fire and of hellfire, lava. They look like an active
So like a
volcano.
waterbed.
Oh my god, wait, I'll show you a picture.
Yes. So they are it is very, sometimes you might, depending on what state or emotion they're in, you can sometimes think that they're not fully like solid. They
That's
are,
what I was curious about.
yeah, it is. Although if that is what you're seeing, then you probably need to get the hell away very fast.
Better run.
Yeah. Currently now, although I have never clarified it, but I have assumed because the way that we've played this so far,
fine.
Elindra, you are currently in your more humanoid elvish form.
Yes.
All right. Yes, and that is the picture of Elindra. So yes, Fig, you are warming yourself. Elindra, you are trying to pass your movement off as something that is completely natural, just like
She's got me by the armpits, and I'm just making myself walk like Mary.
yes, this nearly 7 foot tall person has got you by the armpit.
Your feet are off the ground like a tiny
shortest-
dog.
I
You're
know,
the
yeah.
shortest person here.
I could always fly. It's called levitate. Come on now.
Oh my God. And I did roll a 4 on the guard's perception check to see if they notice anything. They do not. You guys are
Perfectly
actually
normal.
moving your way through the city. Elindra, as you sort of hear the sound of Fig's teeth sort of chattering just like right outside your ear on your right-hand side, you recognize the teleportation circle has dropped you off in an area known as the Velven Way. The Velven Way is a reference to the Velven Forest from whence the elves first came, back when their full kingdom was in the lands of Nimrion, prior to them being driven out. This the Velven Way is a reference point for them to always remember where they came from. You are currently moving northeast through some of the city streets. As you look around, you see a wide variety of different kinds of architecture, elven architecture, but it is, whereas at one time in a different place, this elven architecture would have been very much leaf and tree oriented. This is much more ice in its many different variations, where it's like all like some of it is clear, some of it is extremely like compact, and all of it is just bright, because it is not only the ice itself but the magic that is contained within, as all of the elven families, when they left the Velven forests, took parts of their home with them and brought them north. And so the magic still resides, the arcane elements still reside in each of these homes. In fact, if one person were to try and detect magic, the whole city would light up.
Ooh.
Which is a great way for me to get around you ever trying to detect. No, I'm just kidding. As you're moving east through the city, you're moving towards the area, Elindra, you know this, it's called the Crystal Skyway. And it is a series, as you can see, there are some city gates right there between the 8 and the 1 on the legend. So between the Crystal Skyway and the Velven Way, there is a gate. That is what it might look like on the map, but it is actually stairs. Everything within the city walls is actually much higher in elevation. I couldn't figure out a way of like showing that, but it is on a much higher elevation. It's raised up above everything outside the city walls. It's almost like a plateau of sorts, or a butte. I don't know if that's the correct term. Trying to think of some of the like national parks in the US, how like some of them are like incredibly like there's like these massive sandstone. I'm not describing this well.
Like plateaus?
Yeah, I mean it's a plateau, but it's like the thing that makes that, builds up. The plateau is the top portion. But it is, I'll have to look it up. But it is elevated above, and the rest of the city is built on this plateau that overlooks not only the city below, but it also is built directly into the glacier. Which brings me to the glacier. As you are ascending the stairs, following, there's a guard in front of you, but there's also a guard that's sort of hanging behind you, who does not seem also to notice that on a 2, does not seem to notice that, Elindra, you are slightly just hovering just a few inches off the ground, as you are literally being held for warmth by a very, very teeth-chattery fig. I feel like this is very apropos for you, Rain, seeing as how you're in Florida right now. So
I know.
it's just like, yeah, this is what happens when, someone from Tampa decides, I'm not saying you're from Tampa, but someone from Tampa decides to go to Chicago in the dead of winter. Like, it's not fun.
What is 70 degrees?
Yeah. So, as you ascend the stairs to the Crystal Skyway, you begin to get like a better perspective of the city. Elindra, to your left and slightly north, you see Guanrondir, which is the area of the city that is reserved. It is a refuge for those that are half-elves, where half-elves can sometimes pass off very human in other parts of the world, but the elves, since they no longer live in Nimrion, in the Velven Forest, they have since, within Guanrondir, they have since made an enclave for half-elves who have wanted to remain close with, their elven roots. And so they have that enclave just outside the city walls. And it is a place that was built after the city, or after the walled portion of the city. So there's nothing that is keeping, like, half-elves are treated just as well as regular elves. But it is sort of like their own place in sort of the tapestry of Ellhethyr. To your right and slightly south, you have Ellhethyr, which is the area of the city that is most known for, you have a lot of the temples, and you have a lot of the colleges and universities where the mages would teach and instruct people in the art, and some would say science, of the arcane. It is a place that is full of history, of magic, of lore. And it's to any passersby, to any person with a good eye, they would see that it glows slightly brighter than other portions of the city. But you have arrived at the Crystal Skyway. Elindra, you know this. I'm going to be saying that a lot. Elindra, you know this. Elindra, you know that your family is located within the Fair Lane, which is would be directly east of you. The Fair Lane is a place for elvish nobility, but elvish nobility who don't necessarily have permanent residency within the city. Like, they have a home, but they are constantly moving. As your father and mother, they are very high and magic users. And so they will go to other cities, kind of like traveling professors almost. And they will teach at the many different universities within the Crystal Expanse, like a city like Ganadel.
I'll look at you guys and I'm like, I suppose you want to get out of the cold.
Yes.
Sorry, I couldn't quite hear that over your teeth chattering.
Yes.
Yes.
The guards still haven't noticed.
She'll. I need okay, this to the right. She's trying to maneuver her.
We go this way?
The guards say, where are you going?
I'm going home.
That's
She just blankly
This is a very funny image.
Just
and hands on my hip.
I can just picture the look on Fig's face. It's just like, oh shit. Yes. So I don't suppose we need to escort you anymore. You can find your way from here.
Yes, of course I can. But thank you.
Most welcome. Welcome home.
She does a little nod and then taps Fig in the shin, like
You continue just moving I keep wanting to say west. It is not west. It is east. You keep moving east, deeper into Ellhethyr, and you actually, I'll ask them the question. Ellhethyr is very different. It's a very different environment for both of you.
Yeah.
Fig and Atara. What are some of the things that you are thinking as you are bearing witness to the majesty of Ellhethyr?
I would say that Atara is immediately clocking how, like, I would imagine this city, since according to the map, everything looks pretty close together, right? Like it's your traditional kind of city, and she's kind of trying to make a map in her mind as they're going to try and like, oh, okay, so if we need to go here, this is where we should maybe go in a case of an emergency, or like if we need to duck down in here in this, which I feel like is really hard to do with everything. Again, based off of the map would be really hard to do. And so she's trying to like compare like apples to oranges essentially in her head. And I think on her face, that's going to just translate into just a, like the whole time. Like she just looks so in awe of everything
so
that's going on.
inconspicuous.
Yeah. So like we've got like slightly levitating with little feet, and then like this tiefling, which I feel like she kind of is out of place here, is just kind of almost open mouth, gaping at everything. This again, we're going like 0 to 100 like all the time. I feel like since she's been alive again. Yeah,
you're still drunk as fuck.
Yeah. So yeah.
For you, Atara, this whole place is both hauntingly beautiful, but very much like, is this actually happening? Am I awake? Is this all a fairy tale? Because you come from a place that is a city, and it is a large city. Brecca is nothing. It's nothing small, but it is incredibly hot most of the time, and it is just, it has a lot of sprawl. Whereas here, everything is super compact, and it goes up as opposed to out. As you are making your way through the city, Fig, what are some of your thoughts?
It's devoid of more color than she's used to. Beautiful, of course, thinking like, just diamond shards like shooting up. Very like geometric, I feel like, where she's used to more so organic, more texture. So this is beautiful. It's twinkling, it's glittering, it's bright, but it's very monochromatic. So with all the colors that she's used to, the smells she's used to from, earthy, or being inside somewhere where you could feel something like wafting on the breeze. Here, it's just cold. It's cold. It's very clean, that kind of feel,
Yes. So as you are making your way, holding Elindra aloft, it is one of those things that almost very briefly, it makes you slightly forget that you are holding Elindra. And you don't drop them. You don't drop them or anything. But it is like one of those things where, Elindra, you suddenly feel like you are like moving up and down as Fig, you find yourself like catching yourself sort of like. One thought that I'll say, if you'll allow me, that sort of comes into your mind is the fact that Korthvol never talked about this place. And you would think that he would. He would have mentioned something about how majestic it was. And you wonder now why he never did.
Yeah, because Fig doesn't have any winter clothes at all.
Yeah, you're a child of summer.
Mm-hmm.
You're a child of summer and occasionally spring, but other than that, you are very much just warmer climes always.
Mm-hmm. So it
Elindra.
seems like the chill in the air.
I think it's wrong.
Elindra, as you are making your way through the streets, I need you to give me a perception check. What did you roll in your perception check, Elindra?
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Okay. You will have advantage on your initiative roll. I need everyone to roll for initiative.
Oh, let's go. Something's gonna attack us.
Really? Already?
This will be fine.
Oh, I swear on my life, it's a natural 20.
Hey!
A nat 20. There you go.
My new Ravenclaw dice. As if I needed more dice.
I'm moody.
So that puts me at 22.
Excellent.
10.
Oh, honey. 16.
Okay.
I'm using different dice too. Like I rolled really low last week too, and these are different dice. It's not the same D20 that's messing with me every time.
Funny, I 3D printed a dice jail.
Yeah.
Excellent. That is not excellent. Elindra, you are still carried aloft by Fig. You see, as you're walking down the road, this snowy road, with these very tall residential ice houses. In the streets, elves everywhere, just moving, making their way throughout this portion of the city. When all of a sudden you see a white cloaked figure step into the middle of the street, raise their hand, and they and what did everyone get on their initiative roll?
22.
16.
22, 16, a 9, you said?
A 10.
10. Oh, jeez. Oh no.
Stop.
Okay. They didn't do
Okay.
what I said they were about to do. So, Fig, you actually, as you are carrying Elindra, you feel Elindra tense in your arms, and you see what makes them tense directly in their path, and you see this white cloaked figure with what looks to be silver hair, vaguely femme presenting, and there is an intensity there that is very much directed at the three of you, or technically at two of you.
Now you
This
all
person-
right.
This person raises their hand and just holds their hand up, and everybody, all of the elves in the street suddenly scatter into the alleyways.
Do I know who this person is?
I'll say you rolled a nat 20 on your perception check.
I know, dirty.
Dirty 20. This looks, again, with their hood down, you can't really see their face, but it could be your sister.
Up.
And everybody just scattered?
She held up her hand as if she were about to do something.
Drop me. Put me down. Fig, put me on the floor.
So Fig will do that.
Fig, what do you do that? I'll just say you do that as a free action. What do you do?
Real quick, she'll say to Elindra, friend or foe?
I don't know. It might be my sister.
Oh, that's fine then. And then Fig just steps like 5 feet back. Just steps back.
Are we lifting? What are we doing? What is this person? Do you know this person?
Does Fig does notice that the person is like lifting their hand in a not like come hither kind of way?
No, this is very much like a precursor to something.
Cool. Can she go ahead then and ready counterspell?
Ooh. Ooh.
Okay.
I like it.
This person raises their hand and proceeds to launch They are going to let loose Cone of Cold on the three of you.
4th level spell?
This is a blast. This is a 5th level spell.
Ah!
So a blast of cold air erupts from their hands. You all need to, since you are within range,
Definitely my
within
sister.
60 feet, a creature, you need to make a Constitution saving throw.
I was just dying.
It's fine. This will be fine.
And Fig.
The spell save DC is 21.
Shit.
Are you gonna counterspell that?
Yeah. So if it's casting 4th or higher, I have to make an ability check using my spellcasting ability. So I need to roll. It needs to equal DC or DC of 10 plus this spell's level. So it's 5th level. So I need to do 15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. 7.
Hey.
I'll counterspell it. That's the only spell that I have.
Okay.
Ugh.
I will say yes. Go ahead and attempt to counterspell.
Do it.
Oh shit.
Fig, you raise your hand, but just not with enough time. You suddenly feel like the Cone of Cold hasn't hit you yet, but it is on its way there, and you can feel like the tips of your fingers just suddenly get very cold, and you are now visible.
Yep.
Yeah.
23.
Woo.
Hey.
As the Cone of Cold, with all of its ice crystals just suddenly shooting out towards you, all of the cold air that is going to suck the air right out of your lungs and freeze all of you. Elindra, you raise your hand, and
a bunch of flame just circles us in that moment, stopping the spell from getting to us.
the flame circles, and all of the ice and cold suddenly dissipate either into snowflakes or into water, and just falls down to the ground.
Oof.
That, since you so Fig and then Elindra, that brings up Atara.
Amazing.
Whoa!
I-
Counterspell's a reaction.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. So you're so it is your turn.
Illyria, what is your problem? Say anything? Does it work?
Doesn't say anything.
No reaction?
Nope.
Fine, if I have to beat it out of you, I will. And then I will an Eldritch Blast. As one does. It's 2 beams. Okay. So that is oh my god, it's 19 and a 12 plus 10 to hit. I'm gonna say that probably hits.
It does hit.
Cool. Then it's a D10 plus 5. So let's do that. And I'm gonna shove them back 20 feet. Adds 13 damage.
Okay. You hit them with your blast. And they impact the robes, which glisten bright, and just with each impact suddenly gets brighter. This white pure light. Does that complete your turn?
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh no, bonus action, I telekinetically smack her in the face. I don't expect her to be pushed backwards, I just smack her.
you do that. Atara, it is your turn.
Is it? I got a 10. Isn't it
Yep.
Fig's turn?
Fig was first.
Oh, my bad. Didn't she use a reaction? Isn't counterspell a reaction?
Oh yes, that is technically.
That's why
true.
I was like, wait a minute.
You dropped Elindra, and then you used counterspell. I'll say, yeah, go ahead and do what you would like to do.
All right, I see that. Oh, hire me.
Fig.
Fig.
Okay.
Okay. I was like, wait a minute.
Well, we'll say that since I see Elindra cast Eldritch Blast, as will I. And so, when in Rome. So she'll do the same. That's also 2 beams plus 4. So. Oh. That's a 9 to hit.
Does not hit.
See, I'm gonna whoop my jail dice.
All the dice in jail. All of them.
Yep. Well, that was my action. I didn't have any other movements or anything to do. I just know I'm like 5 feet behind Elindra, and that's it.
Okay. The Eldritch Blast actually do technically hit this woman. She uses her cloak to bat them aside. Bringing up Atara's turn.
Okay. When it gets around to her turn, she's gonna like still kind of be stumbling around a little bit, and she's gonna be like, it feels kind of a little funny. This isn't normal for me, and this is the first time we've been in combat since she's had this breastplate on, and she's gonna cast Chaos Bolt at this figure that they don't know who is. So if I could get a never mind, that's me. I'm gonna roll it. Roll to hit. Does I don't think either of these hit a 16 or a 17 hit?
They do not.
Okay. Well, she's gonna be like, it feels funny, and like she'll get a little bit of a little shock around her, like Ghibli style, and then be like, oh well, that was it. That's my turn. That was anticlimactic.
We're getting the first round jitters out of the way.
Technically, this is all y'all's first combat, so this is very. It's interesting to see how we all, do combat together. That brings up this woman. This woman is going to, with almost like dance-like grace, is going to bring her cloak around her, and suddenly there is a sparkle of ice and snow, and she is gone. And suddenly, Fig, you find her right next to you, as she has misty stepped right around all 3 of you. She very gently sort of caresses your cheek, and then she looks at you, Elindra, and says, my, sister. I feel like you miss a step now. This is disappointing. Well, who are these lovely people?
Well, I would have told you if you weren't such a psychopath.
Psychopath? That's rude.
Yes.
Is that how you greet your sister after not seeing her for so long?
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you cast spells on your sister after not seeing her for so long? I could have been dead for all you know, and then you tried to kill me.
Oh, please.
It's
I wasn't
atrocious,
trying to
really.
kill you. We were just having a bit of... We used to do this all the time. Granted, I didn't have these 2 around, but...
You used to cast your spells on me for practice. I didn't have magic. Now you're just grumpy because I do.
No response to that. She just looks at you, Atara. Interesting. That is very fine armor you have there.
Thanks, I think.
Oh, it
Who
looks
are
to be-
you? Who? I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's a little.
I'm
It's a lot.
Elindra's sister, Illyria.
Ah, interesting name. Huh. All right.
I'm like
I'm
just
not going
looking
to.
off to the side.
I'm not going to remember that. I'm just saying. I'm still a little. I kind of thought you went real for a moment. So,
Oh, I'm very real. And she pinches you. She pinches you on the arm.
do not touch me. No. Thanks. They made it. For them. Yes.
Oh, I know. I was being sarcastic. I was.
Mm.
Yeah, I could tell my sister had a hand in this, whatever this is you're wearing. So, what brings one such as you to our fair lands? And she looks at you, Fig, with just genuine curiosity.
Sightseeing.
What did you say?
Sightseeing.
Sightseeing and food.
Yes.
Your response, very short and to the point, takes her completely by surprise. She kind of is at a loss for words. Is like she it looks like almost like she expected like a more elaborate answer, but it's just like, oh, that's interesting, sister. What brings you back home with such odd companions?
Not allowed to come home.
I
Am I
mean,
not allowed to have friends? Listen, I understand that you don't have any, but it's fairly normal from what I hear.
I'm going to ignore that. Father and mother are not here. Uncle is still here. But yes, the house is feeling very empty. I'm busy moving around the city, though. Please feel free to let yourselves in.
Where's mother?
Oh, they are abroad. I know father, he went somewhere on the seas, out of one of the ports. I don't remember the name. Mother went west.
Is that where we were the day previously?
I mean,
earlier today?
I mean, west in terms of like, if you're looking at the Crystal Expanse, west in the Crystal Expanse, not south where you were. So you were south, like very far southwest.
Right. Well, I just look her up and down. Come along, girls. Come, then we're done with that conversation.
Carl like waddles along with you.
Okay. I've got like one arm underneath your shoulder. Like, just come on. We'll get you somewhere
She's
you can
not-
pass out.
She is not very friendly. That was not hospitable of her.
No, not at all.
That's what
Would have
Illyria
thought she
looks
was
like.
raised in a barn.
It would have been a very cold barn here.
So your parents aren't here, but your uncle, is that the hot one? He's here?
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, what? No.
What?
We don't know.
No.
No.
Okay. My
Hot one.
mistake.
My uncle works for the king. His name is Thaddeus.
That is very important.
I'm twisting you guys around this, like, nope, not that street, the other one, down this way.
But
I look back. She's not following us, right?
Oh no. She was
Oh,
like,
God.
she twirled her
Bye.
robe at you and was like, ta-ta, and then she dimension doored and is gone.
I hope she gets frostbite.
That is a very interesting dynamic you guys have. Have you ever gotten along with your sister? Or
No.
and it is.
And I suppose it didn't help that I kept stealing all her clothing and cutting it up.
Oh, the borrowing
what
I
it
can
is.
see, but the cutting, that is. Oof.
That
is
was just for fun.
problem. Ah, all right. I have a sister sort of similar to you, I think.
I'm assuming you're continuing towards. Okay. You
Does Uncle stay in the same house with us, or he has his own shit?
He has his own thing. He has his own thing. He's located elsewhere in the city.
He lives above the garage.
No, he's located. Sorry, he is located in an apartment in Miguel, which is outside the city. But you are wandering the streets of the Fairlane, and you eventually, as you come around one of the corners from out of one of the alleys, you see before you the gates of Shadowghast Manor. And it is a very, like, this is very much Frozen Ice Palace vibes, like very Disney themed, with just clear ice crystal gates, with two elven guards in white armor just outside.
I walk up.
The guards immediately recognize you. It's like, he like bats the other guard in the armor and it's just like, and the other guard just like straightens up and just like, oh, they both like squint at you.
Yes, it's me. It's Elindra. I came home.
Mistress Elindra. Yes. Very surprised to see you here. Your parents are not at home. You idiot! Just open the gates. Oh, sorry. And you see him like fiddle with some keys, and then he puts it in the lock, and then the gate goes and opens, and you can see just sort of the mansion just sort of rising up out of the snow in front of you.
Before we go through this, like into the house, I lean in close to one of the guards and I go, "So what has my sister been doing all this time?"
I have no idea. I work for your parents. None of my business, Mom.
I'll ask you again. So what has my sister been doing all this time?
A
A little bit of steam coming out of her ears now.
She's been spending some time in the Feywood and around the council tree, but other than that, I couldn't say.
Is he lying to me?
You mean an insight check?
Negative guidance.
Sure.
Yeah? Roll it for me? Because I need it.
Give you a 1.
Perfect. Where is my insight? My insight is bad. It's a 9.
He seems to be telling the truth, or at least he seems to be very scared of you.
You're no fun anymore. And I go inside.
Didn't know I was supposed to be fun. And they close the gates behind you. As you enter the courtyard, Elindra and crew, suddenly, 1, 2, 3, 4 footmen suddenly materialize from the side entrances, coming out and lining up with what look to be 3 maidservants of the house. And they are all lined up, and they look to be, it's very Downton Abbey-esque, with them just sort of like lining up. And you see the steward of the household, who you know to be his name is Barty.
Perfect.
And it's short for Bartholomew, but everyone calls him Barty. And he strides out from the center gate, and he strides up to you, and it's been a while since you've been home, Miss Elindra.
Hi, Barty. Did you miss me?
He looks down at you, sort of gives you a smirk, and I suppose you'll be wanting your bedroom prepared?
Yes, and the guest rooms.
Of course. Looks over at Fig, how tall they are. Yes. Sybil, would you be so kind as to fetch the extra large bed sheets for the crystal room? Yes, thank you. And several, you see one of the maidservants immediately dash into the house as they have to go find these extra large bed sheets. And Barty proceeds to offer his arm to you, Elindra, to bring you into the house. If you'll come with me, ladies. And he walks, and the servants just sort of come in behind all of you as you enter the house. Upon entering, you're immediately introduced to this very large, oh my goodness, the word just went out of my head.
Foyer.
I almost said foyer. Thank you. I almost said lobby. You were brought into this massive foyer with this massive center staircase that splits off into left and right directions. In the very front, at the very top of the staircase, you see a very large, very beautiful painting of the family. You have, of course, Elindra, you see your parents, Alistair and Ellhethyr. You see a very haughty Illyria. You see your uncle Thaddeus, and of course, your grandmother Evelyn, who is standing at the top of the stairs looking down at you with something that can only be construed as a very happy twinkle in her eye, just sort of as she's looking down at you. Oh!
Hi, Nana!
Elindra, girl, oh, have you grown?
No.
You look you look slightly taller from when I saw you last. It's been such a long time since you've been home, girl.
I've run up the stairs to give her a hug.
She embraces you, and she holds you out just slightly, and she pinches you on the cheek, and just starts to play with your hair, and she's like, "Oh, who are these lovely people?" And she looks at Fig and Atara
at the end of the stairs.
I'll help her down the stairs so she can come and say hello.
She is actually, if you can believe it, slightly shorter than Elindra, hence the height comment, which is a feat all on its own. And she is a feat all on its own. And she makes her way down the stairs towards you, and she looks up at Fig. Oh my goodness, Elindra, you pick very beautiful friends. And Then she looks at Atara and she's like, my goodness, dearie, you are very, very well armored. And she gestures towards your breast chest plate.
They made it. It is why is your family so interested in armor?
Oh, it's because we made it. We made it for many hundreds and hundreds of years. Just armor of many different magical varieties. My father and my grandfather before him.
Oh, that makes much more sense. You sort of your granddaughter here helped make it, so she is following in your footsteps. Sort of.
It doesn't surprise me. She is
Nana.
very, very talented.
Well, I hug her again. I
No.
missed you, Nana. I just fucking like, ah.
I missed you too, girl. I must say it's been very quiet since you left, but it has been very lonely in this big old house. Are all of your needs being taken care of right now?
Are you hungry?
Yes, Nana.
I'm assuming
Everything's
Barty.
fine.
I'm assuming Barty already has your rooms being prepared. Yes, Mom, we are attending to it at this very moment. Excellent. Very good to hear that the Shadowghast hospitality is still holding up. Anyway, shall we adjourn into the drawing room?
After you, Nana. It's so
She
fucking cute.
She begins to make. So if you're looking from the doorway, she begins to move past the staircase to your right, and she goes and there's two footmen at the series of two very large double doors that open up into a hallway that off of one of the there looks to be like three different doorways that go off of this hallway. This is way too intense.
The house attacks
The
us.
three doorways in this hallway, one of which may or may not be the drawing room. Anyway, so as you begin to make your way down the halls, you see one of these doorways leads into a library or art room where more paintings are on the walls. Past that, you do see that it is, in fact, the drawing room in which there are many musical instruments and different activities, but it's also a sitting room of sorts. And it is the place where the family will have some repose while waiting for guests to arrive. As you enter the sitting room, there are many different couches and chairs that are arranged for people to sit and be comfortable. Evelyn, the grandmother of the family, she sits in her chair.
Mhm.
And she said, come. Yes, please have your seat. Barty, we will have, please fetch us some snacks. And Barty says, yes, Mom, coming right away. And he,
I knew you missed me, Barty.
and he leaves very quickly. So, tell me, what brings you hope, please? And what brought you such wonderful companions?
I sit right beside her on the floor, like on my knees. Like I grew up, that's where we heard the stories from. So she sits right beside her Nana. Well, okay. Well, you know how I was traveling to Ashcaleen?
Yes. Oh, yes, I remember you saying something about that you were going on a long journey and that you were going to see some of the wonders of the world. And I remember you saying something about Ashcaleen. Is it still as beautiful as I remember?
No. It's rubble.
Sorry?
Big fight, and the city fell to the ground. Really.
Oh, Mount Celestia. That is most surprising. What misfortune brought such a calamity on that city?
I don't. You see her for the first time. Like Elindra's like, I really want to tell someone the truth about something. Vampires and demons.
She gets very silent as she's looking at you, and she sees that you're not joking. Like, this whole thing is not a joke.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is a very real thing. My dear, that sounds awful. You were there for all of this?
Mm-hmm.
Are you okay?
No, and I immediately put my head in her lap. No.
Are these real tears? I have to ask.
They are.
Okay. All right.
Nana can bring out anything in her.
While this emotional release is happening, Barty comes in with one of the maidservants and brings in what look to be different custard samples with a variety of biscuits and these elven cookies.
Atara's still a little woo, so she's definitely gonna like trying to be polite about it, but she's also like, I'm give me.
I'm going to fill my face right now.
Yeah,
Yeah, do it.
She's like kind of like, this is not the moment, but like also I need something to soak up everything.
Nana looks at you, Atara, and she says,
She's
no,
like,
no, dearie, please don't be shy. Please, that's what the food is there for.
Barty, could you make her a hangover cure?
Barty looks very critically at Atara, and then a very sort of a very sly grin suddenly creeps across his face. I know just the thing. And he leaves the room once again.
I'm so sorry.
Fig,
keeps eating cookies.
do you remember your parents?
Great question. That answer is
Cool.
no.
No.
I can't. I'm not gonna. Don't blurt shit out, Jessica.
Is that because of your proximity at all times to the Circus of the Twilight Serenade, or is it?
Yeah.
Is that I don't know that Fig would necessarily know this, but maybe Rain, if you were comfortable sharing. Is that something that was intentional on Fig's part, not wanting to remember certain things? Or is it something that's just a product of the fact that they've traveled with the Twilight Serenade and with Korith Vol throughout the plains?
Yeah, it was like that she had left off early, kind of like a walkabout, and just never came back. And then, was picked up by the Twilight Serenade. And so what she remembers is hardly nothing. Like, it really is. She would have to kind of like take like a sidelong glance in the mirror and figure out her features on, like who she takes after with her parents. But no, technically she doesn't.
Thank you for sharing. In that case,
I'm so sorry, I'm laughing.
What if any
don't know that.
emotions is this moment that Elindra is having with her grandmother engendering within you? Or is it just still just you're looking around the room and it's all very fascinating and you're not really focused on what Elindra is doing right now?
Yeah, she's much more happy and feeling blessed that she's warmer, but also the vibe from here, from outside, is completely in stark contrast to inside. With like Elindra and her nanas, like that's also warm. So she's just taking it and observing, like, okay, so all the family is not like the sister from outside, you know. So she's really noticing now, okay, there is warmth here, inside and out.
Atara.
Having a hard time.
I'll say same question to you, although no, I'm not going to make you roll for it.
I don't know. Do I? Do I remember?
That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
I feel like there
gonna
are
roll for
pieces.
No.
Okay. In that case, give me.
I have figments. Like there's, it's like when you picture something and you're like, I have had this dream. I remember this person in this place, in this feeling, this smell, but she cannot like paint the picture of the people themselves. Like, so the memories that she's been getting, it's like she knows from the memory, it's like, oh, that's her mother, but like the face isn't quite there yet. But she has like the emotions attached to it and like the feelings.
Like everything is very faceless. It's like you can sort of
Yeah.
see the outlines of people and the bearing they might have, but not be able to distinguish features.
Yeah.
And it's made even harder by, if you were to look in the mirror, you wouldn't see the actual like face behind the face. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. In that case,
I rolled a 3, by the way.
Okay.
I'm rolling so low.
This is, I'll say,
8.
if anything, this is actually making you, and it could be just that you're very hungover at this point. This is kind of making you like super depressed.
She just like starts crying. Like just crocodile tears as she's eating cookies.
Oh no. You're eating cookies.
Yeah.
This is hilarious. Also not.
Yeah.
You're going to choke.
Evelyn looks at you, Atara, and she's like, Oh, Mount Celestia. Oh, dearie, what was the matter?
I'm just feeling very overwhelmed. She's like eating more cookies as she's crying.
Overwhelmed? Oh, well, cookies, the Elven cookies, they're there for you, and they're the perfect cure for unhappy thoughts.
She's crying. Clearly.
Now, are all of you from... did all of you witness what happened in Ashcaleen, or was it only? So where do you hail from then?
She's just cries
subject,
more.
Nana.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to offend.
I don't know. I mean, I know, but I don't know, and I'm not sure. And she's eating cookies again.
Evelyn is like very quickly realizes that this is not this is a sore subject. Moving right along, she looks at you, Fig. She's like, and where do you hail from? Some place warmer, I should say. And she, because she sees the way you're attired.
Yes, you have a very discerning eye. Yes, I do actually hail from the Feywild. And it's definitely warmer in plenty of places there.
No,
I
Nana's
remember-
romance books are like, the
I remember
Feywild.
my time when I went to the Feywild so long ago.
Oh, that sounds amazing. I hope you enjoyed it.
Oh, I don't get to talk about those times very often. And you see that her pale skin she blushes just at the very thought of certain events and moments that
Got
she
cousins somewhere that you've never met. She
No.
Shenanigans.
Yes. Just she gets a far off look in her eye. Just
Oh,
delightful. Delightful. I'm sorry, I was transported for a second.
Hannah, have you met Korath Wall?
Who?
Never mind. Just checking.
Who did you say?
Korath Wall.
And Fig just goes like, he's an archfey.
No. I know he's an archfey. But how do you know who he is?
How do you know who he is? I asked you first.
Well, I don't mean to be indecorous, but I used to have quite a bit of fun back in my day, and I went on many lovely, again, the far off look in her eye, just lovely, lovely adventures. I never met him, but I heard stories. He was a very, very large troublemaker in the Feywild, and the Council of Nine ended up kicking him out. But he always somehow managed to find his way and be all up in somebody's mischief. But yes, I'm assuming that you know or you have encountered him. She's looking at you three.
Like you, I also
More
have
cookies.
I have met him and spent some time with him, and long story short, am trying to make my way back to him.
Really? That is fascinating. Why, make your way back? Why, what would be preventing you?
Um, it's long story short, we were part of a troupe. We performed.
Wait,
And
I'm
your
sorry.
granddaughter actually saw me perform. Actually, it was wonderful. She said,
She is
I know it was wonderful.
fantastic.
Elindra, you
Yeah.
didn't tell me. You've seen the Twilight Serenade before.
Yes, it was in Ashcaleen. I've even met Korath. He tried to take my friend's name.
That's not surprising. Very, very. She gives you a thoughtful look, Fig. Very interesting. So, not to be rude, but Elindra, what brings you home?
Well, Atara was tasked with bringing me home, and now we're seeing if she's done her task.
Yeah, she's still just like eating cookies. Yeah, you're home. I wonder if that works.
It's all right, baby.
I'm sorry,
It's all
she's
right.
she's your guardian?
I'm not usually like this. I promise. It's been I've been dead for quite some time.
At this point, Barty comes into the room with a tray and like a very tall glass of this red liquid, and looks to be some kind of like weird vegetable garnish that is like piercing through the top of it.
Hey, tomato juice.
And he
It's
comes
Bloody Mary.
or the
Like, oh, it's like
Elvish
blood.
equivalent.
Yeah.
And he comes up and says, he like holds it away from himself, just, Madam, your hangover cure.
What is that supposed to do? It is. Why?
I mage hand it from him and just keep it in front of her face, like,
She's
open up for mommy.
Drink it. Yeah, she'll drink it. She'll drink it. She'll drink it. She'll drink it.
You drink it. Okay,
Mhm.
it is the most vile tasting thing you have ever had in your
Oh,
mouth
gross.
ever. And it is just it goes down your throat and it makes you gag. And it's just like, oh, it immediately you feel like almost a purifying, purging effect as it just sort of fills your stomach, and you don't throw up, but it's like it almost absorbs the alcohol within you and just sort of extracts it
Yeah.
and just makes it just almost infinitesimally small. Effectively, like suddenly you are very like hyper alert, and your senses, you've gone from a sort of a -2 to your ability checks to a you have advantage on your next initiative roll.
Amazing.
Hey.
Wow, that was wonderful. Wow, I mean, it was not wonderful. It was very, very gross, but I appreciate it. Thank you. I forgot your name. I apologize.
Barty, Mom.
But all right. Thank you. Thank you. Do I have to drink any more of that?
Oh no. Just you drink enough. How are you feeling?
Wonderful, actually. Sort of. Yeah, I mean, yes. Better? What was that?
It's just a old family recipe. Will that be all?
If you don't ask. Will that be all? I mean, for now.
Excellent.
I can't tell
And
the future.
And he leaves. Evelyn just again looks at each of you just so again, what brings you home, Elindra? It's not that I don't
lying.
it's not that I don't love seeing you, but hearing this whole thing about Corthvol, and this is a sorry, but from what you're saying, it seems like this is a bodyguard.
Apparently.
Her eyes, not unkindly, but her eyes just sort of very just narrow on you, as if she's like really focusing.
The Twilight Serenade was in Ashcaleen when it fell, so I saw I saw Fig perform, and then everything went to hell. And there was a cat that's actually two cats. It was a sphinx, and one of them teleported me away into the mountains and died.
Weirder and weirder. The more she says these things out loud, and like Atara's never heard this, and it's like,
What?
like vampires, two cats, what?
And all the temples disappeared.
I'm sorry, all the temples disappeared?
Yes, they all went sparkly and green, and then they were all gone.
You see her face change when you say sparkly and green.
Oh.
That sounds like a very powerful spell. It is most concerning. And you said vampires.
Yes.
Undead.
So,
Very concerning.
I'm telling Nunna everything. I'm like, so there was this little twat vampire who made the queen his bitch, and then she overthrew the king while he was out fighting Dad.
I'm sorry.
And then I joined the resistance and
And you see her suddenly get a very cross look on her face. Perhaps it'd be best if you started from the beginning. Because right
Yes,
now,
ma'am.
I feel like I'm witnessing one of your old granddad's stories where he would somehow start at the end, work his way back to the beginning, and then somehow end up in the middle.
Granddad
And-
told the best stories.
He most definitely did. That silly man. But he was not a friend of timelines, and I would most appreciate any kind of chronological order you can provide me with, the events of your trip and how you ended up back here.
Well, about 4 or 5 years ago, Mephistopheles appeared to me in my room.
You're telling your grandmother this.
I tell this woman everything.
Okay, in that case, I will ask this question. Is this something that Elindra has already told Evelyn? I'm sorry, Evelyn.
I think that she told her that beginning bit and then kind of got, oh, there, dear. It's just a nightmare. You know?
Okay. So 4 or 5 years ago, I mean, this is just the second time that you've told me this. This is true.
Of course it's true. I'm not technically an elf. I'm fire. And I'll scoochie away from her and stand and show her what I actually look like.
Okay. Elindra, you step back a safe distance.
I'll stand in
Evelyn,
the fireplace.
her eyes go wide as suddenly from the bottom portions of your dress around your feet, suddenly this pool of lava suddenly seeps down your legs and just starts to pool on the ground beneath you. And then suddenly from these drops of lava, this smoke just suddenly starts to come out of looks to be the floor almost. And then suddenly spreading out from that, suddenly these puffs of flame suddenly start to poke out from under the dress. And then suddenly the dress itself becomes this all-encompassing, writhing flame that just swooshes around and through you. And suddenly you are engulfed in fire. This marvelous, beautiful blue fire. Evelyn is fully shocked at this, especially with the admission that you are not in fact an elf. And even more
That's the
so
point,
that
it
this is all stemming from a story that begins with 4 or 5 years ago, I met Mephistopheles, and he's actually my father. That was my best accent. Imitation. I'm sorry. As you do this, Fig and Atara, this is the first time that you've seen Elindra's true form. Thoughts?
So we have that picture, and we had your dad in the chat too. Where is he? This is the first time that she kind of makes that connection of like, oh, okay, I get it. My leg is not really being pulled here. I see it now. These things are kind of connecting. in a way that's still like, oh, this is a problem. So she's equally confused, but like she's panicking that she probably agreed to something that she still really doesn't know what the heck she agreed to, quite literally.
Right, because for you, it was sort of a desperate.
Yeah, it was like,
attempt.
cool, sure. I don't really. It was kind of like, you want to do this thing? Sure. And then she's here. So there's definitely this connection now of like, oh, that is his child, not child, but she also doesn't want to go home, but needs to go home. Hopefully this. So it's a lot of things are turning in her head still.
Mhm.
And it's, yeah. But she will, like, she's still sitting there, and I think the cookie in her hands, like, she drops it unintentionally. And, like, not even, like, looking at it, just, like, grabs it, like, oh, kind of thing. Like, so definitely some startle, but she's trying not to be like, what are you? You know? She's trying to compose it.
Big.
Big goes, you know, I wish you could have done that outside when I was cold. Because you look a
It would
lot
have hurt
warmer
you.
now. But she's really just admiring just anyone who looks like extra, just more, but like of what they are. Fig is really excited about it. So she's sitting there just admiring, like, yeah, like glowing up. She's glowing up.
Evelyn gets up from her chair and she comes up to you, Elindra. She does not seem to be put off by the flame at all. And she just reaches out and just holds her hand to your cheek.
It's not, is it, I'm not hurting her?
No, you don't seem to be.
Thoughts, Nana?
I'm
Why
sorry.
could you touch me?
Oh, I have a spell. I'm protecting myself right now, but I just listen. I don't want you to feel like you have to hide who you are. You're still a member of this family.
Tears, little flame tears. Okay. I broke the city.
I'm sorry?
Ashcaleen fell because Grajit tried to kill us, so I called Mephistopheles. There were vampires everywhere.
This is all a lot for Evelyn, because now we're introducing a Lord of the Abyss into the equation. And so you've uttered some very glaring word choices in your story. So we have vampire twat child with enthralled queen. We have green magic, which is concerning, that has made all of the temples disappear, which are the anchors that the gods have to this world that are literally anchored into the ley lines beneath Ashcaleen. You have Mephistopheles being not only a progenitor of Elindra, but also present at the destruction of Ashcaleen. And on to top it all off, we have Grajit, one of the Lords of the Abyss, doing battle, and that is what causes the destruction of one of the most fair cities, in Evelyn's opinion, upon the world of Odromia.
It was already going to shit, though.
Well, her eyes are still very wide, but she brings her other hand up and just very gently just holds your face in her hands. And she says, "You don't have to hide who you are. I I'm sorry if you ever felt that you had to.
I didn't know before. So, and when I did, I left.
So did that one, did he make you leave?
I had a job to do. In Ashcaleen.
What do you mean when you say job?
A spy. I get a lot of... I needed the stories. And he needed to know what was going on in all these places.
So you work for him?
Yeah, but I don't get paid.
Then what do you get?
Eventually I get to go back into the flame.
Oh.
I don't know the first thing about this particular arrangement or relationship at all, but it seems very one-sided.
Toxic.
Yeah.
She's nodding along with you guys.
So he uses you, and then he gets
All of
to
us.
have your memories.
Mhm.
And then you are made to forget everything.
Yes. Until the next time I come out.
Her face suddenly becomes very sad.
Oh.
I'm so sorry, dear.
I turn back into my Elindra self.
You see, as you do that, suddenly this blue sheen of magic that was playing over, that was slightly obscured by your blue flame, as you transform back to your Elindra elf form, you see this blue sheen of magic that is coating Evelyn's hands, and it just dissipates as she closes her fists. So you're her bodyguard? She looks at you, Atara.
That is... Yes, that is... I am supposed to be taking her home. We were hoping that this was that home.
I'm not trying to insult your intelligence, dear, but do you feel like you did your job?
I just got here. Like... a day ago. I was not at Ashcaleen, so all of this is also very new to me as well.
Evelyn comes towards you. She offers her hands to you. May I try something?
In the background, I'm like,
Her eyes look up, and then she like sticks her hands out.
Evelyn reaches and grabs your hands and pulls you close to her. Takes your hands, puts them on her chest, and then takes her other hand and places her thumb directly on your forehead.
why are you feeling at my grandmother?
I don't know
I
what's
need
going
you
on.
to give me a wisdom saving throw.
Yo.
Oh, shit.
Right. Oh.
Can I give guidance?
Do we want you to pass this? Guidance. I don't know. Oh,
Is it
no.
wisdom, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
Oh,
A 9.
I'm
I've used a different die every time I've rolled, everybody.
Tara, the world goes black. And you find yourself floating in just... It almost feels like you're floating in water, but there's no water. It's just like you feel buoyant and weightless. And you are just floating in this mass black space. There are sounds coming from different times. You hear the sound of a woman, commanding voice, commanding presence. You hear her say, "Blasted Atara, keep your guard up." And you hear the familiar clang of swords dueling. Another sound comes to your ears. It's the sound of familiar voices, siblings. You're racking your brain right now, trying to remember the names that belong to the voices. And you hear a small voice say, "Catch me, catch me!" And it's the sound of just a game being played, and it immediately creates this instant feeling in you, a feeling of a fullness, being whole, being home. And as this feeling sort of grows in you, the world around you goes from this dark blackness to almost this opaque gray color. And then suddenly more and more white light all around you. And you suddenly find yourself in the practice ring in your family's home within the Amethyst Worm in the city of Brecca. And you see off to the side, lined up, all with weapons drawn, your other siblings. And they're all, it looks like they are all waiting their turn to enter the dueling circle. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I make you nervous? Like everyone?
I was like, they're coming after me.
No, you see, your eyes are gazing over sort of as they're lined up in front of you, and you see Zilla, Andrash, Saris, Sylvain, Enver, and Brahm, all lined up waiting for their turn to enter the dueling ring, which you are currently in. And suddenly you hear the commanding voice again, "Eyes up!" And suddenly you see, almost too late, a blade cut down in front of you, and you barely have time to strike it aside. And it's the striking motion that you have that allows you to see the face of your mother. You see the matron of the Velour family, Ayana. She is dressed in very plain garb, for being the head of one of the leading merchant families within the city of Brecca. And you see her standing, sword pointed downwards in looks to be a rapier. And she is wearing brown breech pants with this loose fitting white doublet. She has her hair up in a very severe ponytail. Or bun. And she closes with you. And you immediately, again, barely have time to put your sword up. I need you to roll for initiative for me.
For fuck's sake.
Nice, Gio.
You have advantage on your next initiative.
I used
initiative
it.
roll.
Oh
You
no!
fuck-
Oh,
no,
you
no,
did?
No. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Please tell me when you use it.
I got a nat one.
No.
You did not. You did
Oh,
not.
honey. Honey.
You guys, I have like 4 sets of dice out right now. I'm using a different die. Like
What
I've been
did you
using.
do today that got
I
you
don't
cursed?
know.
We
Like
need
I
to
just,
remove the
Somebody-
Malocchio on you.
Somebody sage your dice right now.
I know. I'm gonna give you
Listen.
the dice now.
it's gonna be something, but I got a nat one.
As she closes with you, Ayana very deftly bats your rapier blade out of the way, and then like just slightly enough where it's not on center, and then takes the blade in her gloved hand, and then with her blade wraps your sword knuckles, and suddenly you drop the sword.
Yo.
Pain
Oh yeah.
immediately
Oh.
courses and snaps through your bones and your nerves. It is one of the most painful things.
Oh.
And Atara, you feel this pain. It's one of the best feelings that you've felt in a long time. Because it means that you can remember this moment.
Yeah.
You can remember the pain. It feels exactly how you remember it. You can hear the intake of breath as your siblings are all just like shocked at how,
Yeah.
not only how fast their mother disarmed you, but by sort of the sound that accompanied the smack of the blade against the skin.
What race are they?
They're human. Tara, Ayana approaches you, shaking her head. At that point, your youngest sibling, or the youngest female sibling, Sylvain, says,
Atara, you gotta be faster! You gotta be faster!
Are they all calling her slow?
and Ayana looks at the other siblings and says, "Psst," and they immediately shut up. And then she looks at you. What did we learn?
Can I talk? Can I? She's gonna like try and open her mouth to speak. Can she speak?
Yeah.
Awesome. Can she? Can she try and like? She's in pain. With her opposite hand that like her mother like did not hit. I feel like she would try and like disarm her or push her. Some kind of movement to regain like everybody calling her slow. So in this moment, she will go, I've learned not to give up. And then she will like reach with her opposite hand and try and
Okay.
somehow try
Tell
and get
me
out.
what you were doing. Tell me what you were doing with your hands, and then I'm going to ask you another question.
Okay. I imagine that the pain, with the hand that had her rapier, she drops the one, and then her opposite hand, she will try and like get like a dagger from her side, and try and like, I guess, like sweep up maybe, and try and not like stab her mom, but like hit her with the back of the dagger if possible.
Please
Just
don't
to
kill
kind
my
of-
grandmother.
I'm not gonna kill your grandmother.
I would like you to give me an athletics check.
Okay. I'm decent at athletics, everybody. Okay. I'm so sorry. 16 in total.
Okay. On a 16, you bring your dagger to bear, and it on a 16, you're not able to hit your mom.
Yeah.
But you are able, she suddenly has to react
Yeah.
to this sudden surprise move that you have brought to bear on her. And she immediately puts distance and space between the two of you. And you see like a slight smile quirk on her face as she suddenly is like, very well done.
That's enough distance for her to grab her rapier off the ground, right?
You can try.
Okay. She will, like, as her mother's moving back, she will try and take like the step away as well, and to grab her rapier as well.
Okay. You're able to bring your rapier, and you have your rapier and dagger in both hands. As your mother, as Ayana has put distance between the two of you, she's now out of threats, immediate danger.
Yeah.
Technically. She looks at you, and there is a smile, and she looks at your siblings and says, "Now, what did we learn?" And the siblings all in unison say, "Beware the hidden dagger that stabs."
I love them. Oh.
That's right. Beware the hidden dagger that stabs. Nyana looks at you again and says, "I hope you've learned that. I'm sure that if you can remember the hidden dagger that stabs, beware. 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 Beware." And it's at this point, suddenly, the memory changes.
Oh. Okay. Sorry.
Atara,
Yeah.
what was the last thing you remember?
Trying to walk down the hall to a celebration.
You find yourself in your bedroom, having just put the finishing touches on this very gorgeous, the nicest dress you've ever worn.
Which you guys saw. It's that red one. You guys ripped to
I
shreds.
made you a cool cloak.
And you look at yourself in the mirror. And you are not the kind of person, you're your daughter's mother. Your mother has never put much, you are your mother's daughter.
There you go.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a minute.
You are your daughter's mother.
Surprise.
Doesn't make any sense. You are your mother's daughter. I will not be able to say that correctly ever again.
It's perfect. It's fine.
It's going to be an earworm, and I'm going to say it wrong every single time now.
It's fine. It's fine.
You are your mother's daughter. Ayana never put much stock in the pretty, frilly lavish things. She taught her children to be very grounded and humble, even though they were afforded certain privileges and stations in the city of Brecca. In this moment, your mother has allowed you a luxury, as you have officially come of age.
Fine, everybody.
And as you stare at yourself in the mirror, it's like that scene in Love Actually where Keira Knightley is watching the video footage that's recorded, and she's like, "Oh, I look quite pretty." It's that thought that you have.
You're beautiful. That's fine. It's gonna be my tears. I was like, this is gonna end in crying, and it's gonna be me crying.
I would like you to describe what your human self looks like as you stare in the mirror.
Okay. Human, obviously, like, am shorter than the Atara that you guys see. I would say about 5'5". She has high cheekbones, probably what would be considered like a pointy nose. In some lights, it would look kind of beaky, I guess. It's like it's a trait. They all have the same nose, even the siblings that, like, you can tell. You're like, this family has this trait, as well as like this dark, almost brown hair. It's like a blondish brown right before getting brown, so like dark blonde, pulled up into this like ornate style with dark piercing like green eyes, with like an olive complexion. And those traits, like the nose, the green eyes, and the olive complexion, all like around the circle, all of her siblings and her mother share those features. So like when she walks through the city, like their human features, they all share those. And it's like it's like a velour thing. It's like when they grow into the eyes and everything, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, that's who they are. She is slender, but athletic. And in the dress that she's wearing, she's actually in heels. So tonight she's probably like 5'8", 5'9". And as she like spins around, you can see there's actually like a really large scar on her back shoulder. And as she keeps like spinning, there's actually just like little scars kind of everywhere. Probably from nicking herself or like training too hard. And she doesn't care. So yeah, but that is what the human Tara looks like.
As you spin around and you're just getting yourself from every single angle, you pull yourself together and you get your skirt sort of oriented, and you hold it up just a little bit, and you begin to move, and you move towards the doorway, and you move out into the hall. And very faintly, actually, there is no very faintly.
Okay.
Instead of the sounds of a party, instead of the sounds of a celebration and a ball, which is what you were headed to, you hear silence.
A wedding for real?
As you move down the hall, you suddenly notice that one of the things you notice is that the torches are out. And the hallway is dark except for the light that's coming from the doorway at the far end that would lead into the Velour ballroom, estate ballroom. And you begin to pick up your pace slightly. And you are running. And then suddenly, you stop. And you look down. And you see a blade has pierced through your back and out your abdomen. It passes through, and you don't feel anything. And it immediately pulls back out of you, and suddenly the red dress is now crimson, where the sword has made its mark. You don't see what happened. You don't see who did it. You hear a voice. You feel hands on your waist. And you feel the hot breath on the nape of your neck. And you hear the words, "The Nightmoors send their regards."
Fuck. Sorry.
And that, as you fall to your knees and bring the floor gently caresses your cheek as you fall down, and you don't feel anything. All you feel is sleepy and slightly cold. And suddenly you find yourself in the very next memory. You find yourself in a frozen wasteland with particles of ice stinging your cheeks. And in the distance, you see these many armed, insect-like creatures approaching you. And suddenly you are pulled out of this spell that Evelyn has given you. And I will say, this spell has given you your memory back, has healed the broken pieces. You are still a tiefling in your tiefling form, but you remember your old life and where you came from and who everyone was.
Yeah. And a little nugget that I didn't know before. Oh.
Evelyn steps back from you. And you can see, Elindra, you can see that this spell has had an effect on Evelyn. Like it is, she doesn't look older. She looks frail in this moment. Like your strong, elvish grandmother who has had a very long life, has been the matriarch of this family for hundreds and hundreds of years. Very powerful magic user. You see, like this has had an effect. It has drained her. Like it took a lot to dispel or restore this person to their rightful place or their rightful memories. And she sort of just like steadies herself and she reaches for you, Elindra, and she grabs onto your arm and then she finds her chair and
I help her into it.
I'm so sorry, child. That is very sad that you don't even know what became of your family. So you're here because the Lord of Kenya offered you a deal. and you took it.
Tara, like, is taking a couple deep breaths and she's definitely standing straighter than she was. And there is an air of calmness to her, even though there's definitely, like, she's definitely angry. Yes, it was my best option at the time. How did you are you all right? How did you do that?
Was, I'll admit, I'm not as spry as I used to be. But
She's sort of like it's like somebody waking up the next day after a really heavy workout, and suddenly you are incredibly stiff. Every part of your body feels like it's on fire. That is the face that she is making right now. Like every muscle in her body aches.
I message Barty that Nana used too much magic and doesn't look good.
He doesn't respond. You just get the impression that he's on his way. In terms of how this is perceived by Elindra and Fig, it looks like your grandmother or Evelyn reached out, connected in some way with Atara in the span of 6 seconds.
Whoa.
And then suddenly Evelyn withdrew her hands and sort of fell back into you, Elindra, and then fell back into her chair. 6 seconds. That was it. And
I am very tired.
Barty's on the way.
Yes.
He can help us.
He's always so very kind, that Barty.
She's nodding.
Yes, I think I would... Oh! Elindra! You're home.
Immediate tears.
Where's your father?
He's closer to Ashcaleen.
Oh, Ashcaleen. That is such a lovely place.
Beautiful place.
Oh my, you...
she looks at you, Fig.
You are very, very pretty. I'm very tired.
Oh no, stop it.
I know, no. I've called for Barty.
Oh, Barty, yes.
And suddenly you see Barty come through the drawing room door. What has occurred?
What did she
do?
No.
I don't know. She touched Atara and then almost fell over.
What happened? What did you do? And he points at you, Atara.
She cast a spell or something, or she removed the spell or returned my memories. Before now, I did not remember things.
And now she doesn't remember us.
Right. So
He goes immediately over to Evelyn and he just says,
Hello, Mom, remember me?
and Evelyn just sort of like looks at him, and it takes a second where there's like this moment of like searching, like trying to put a name to a face.
Oh, Barty, oh. Is it time? Is it time for... Yes, I think it's time for a nap, I think. Elindra, it's good to have you home, dear.
I missed you so much, Nana.
All right, well, maybe when I wake up, your mother can we can have a nice game of dragon chess. Would you like that?
I would love that. So you better sleep well and wake up.
Okay, Barty. I am very tired. I would like to retire. Yes, Mom, of course. And he puts his right arm around her and sort of like hoists her up out of the chair and takes her other hand and just sort of leads her out of the drawing room.
I hover around behind her.
Barty, for all intents and purposes, Barty didn't see any of what happened.
Yeah.
All he knows is that Elindra is back and she's brought 2 strangers into their home.
Oh,
And he just sort of looks at you, Elindra, just like, and just gives you the hand, just like, hold, don't follow us. Let me do my job. And he continues down the hallway towards the staircase.
What did she do? Why is she like that?
Can I make some sort of Arcana check?
Vibe check.
Please.
Am I glittering now?
You are not glittering. You are not glittering.
I have the skin of a killer now.
17.
Oh. On a 17, you know that your grandmother is extremely powerful. She has always been a woman of great resources, a woman of great knowledge and magic, which is why she's always held such a high station and respect within the city. And even when the Elven people was within the Velven Forest, when she was probably at her most chaotic and young, she was still a very accomplished wizard. And it would appear that whatever kind of magic she just used was a form of restoration magic. Like some kind of greater restoration. The only thing is that she's old now. And these spells exact a high price. And you don't necessarily know what kind of like possibly long-term effect this might have. And it might just be because of the nature of the contract that Atara signed with Mephistopheles, or the kind of promise that was made. But some part of that contract is broken or voided.
Okay.
As Mephistopheles had promised that he would give you back a portion, or he would give you back the mortal life that you possessed if you did the job that he sent you to do, which was to protect Elindra and get her home. Now,
It can't be done.
you have still none of the physical traits that you once possessed, but you have all of the mental faculty and memories that you had before.
Oh, that is gonna be awful. Oh. I do not know what your grandmother is looking at recovery-wise, but I remember everything now. That is,
As in who you are?
yes. And where I come from and my family. Or what is left of them, I suppose. We are from Braga. My last name is Velour, and we we make wine, and we're quite prominent over there. And on a night that was supposed to be peaceful, apparently was not. So I do not know what the next step is.
I think the next step should be you get some rest, perhaps.
I feel fine, but yes, rest. Yes. Should we sleep in here, or where do we sleep? I'm sorry. This is your home. This is your lovely home, by the way. It is quite lovely. This city is very large and very unique, and I am sure it has a very sprawling history. And there's lots for us to learn in this place. It's very magical and wonderful place. Yes.
You're feeling so guilty right now. Above board. Like, as Elindra will take you guys to the guest rooms.
Actually, on your way out of the door, Sybil, the housemaid who works alongside Barty, comes up and says, "Elindra, are you wishing to retire for the evening?"
Yes.
Okay. Please follow me. We have, of course, made up your old room, and close by we have your friends in two of the guest rooms. Unless, of course, you would like to have them all in your room together, or would you like to have just all separate rooms?
I look at you guys.
It is your home. You decide that there's plenty of space, and we would not like to intrude, or whatever is customary here, and we will follow whatever is normal. It is your home.
Separate
In
rooms,
this
please.
company, all I need is pillows. That's it.
Sybil hears the request. She's "Oh, well, then we have plenty of those."
Heavy pillows.
Yes, heavy, the heaviest of pillows. She says,
Is she being weird?
Oh no, she's
Okay.
She's just eccentric.
Okay, we're just making sure.
She's a little weird normally.
Yeah,
we love that. We love that for her.
She's the housemaid to a bunch of wizards. So yes, she is slightly odd. She's an odd duck, but she has to be.
Yeah.
So yes, she okay. So I'll have set up the rooms across from you, Elindra, and if you would mind, just we also have some food prepared for each of you in your rooms. Should you wish to sup for the evening, or if you wish to just retire and have a good rest of your evening. But if you would just follow me. She leads you down the hall back towards the staircase. And Elindra, you know where your grandmother's room is. So she takes you in the opposite wing of the house, towards where your bedroom is. And you walk down a very familiar hallway. And on the walls, you see different moments from your past, different artists capturing certain memories from the Shadowghast household, many of which you are a part of. And you see your sister. You see your uncle, you see your mother, your father, you see your grandmother. And all of this reminds you of the fact that these people are your family. For the longest period of your life, you thought that you were one of these people.
Mhm.
And then one day a Lord of Hell came to your door and fucked it all up. And you were made to suddenly feel other. And your life has never been the same.
Mhm. We're having a
Eventually,
good time.
yeah, it's a great time. You eventually make your way back to, you get all the way back to your room. Sybil opens the door, and it looks exactly like you left it. The aesthetic here is very, very brilliant white. Like it is all like very just like snow angel vibes, like ice, like clear crystal, everything. Like it is very like Tiffany kind of vibes.
Yeah.
Like everything is like very brilliant and shiny and chrome. No. But the feeling that you get the moment you enter is you remember all of the different memories. You remember wrestling with your sister Illyria on your bed, and like that was when you first punched somebody. And you remember your father coming and telling you stories of far off lands, of the Radiant Citadel, somewhere in the Astral Sea. You remember your mother talking to you about certain types of magic and how magic should always be used responsibly and never carelessly and never impetuously.
I like a mage hand and I flick something off the dresser.
It clatters to the floor. Sybil leads you, Fig, to your room. You enter a room that still has samples and bits and pieces that are similar to Elindra's room. But as with everything in this house, there is a care that is placed on making sure every single guest who enters the house feels their most comfortable. And so, given that you look like the fae creature that you are, they have immediately, through whatever magic at their disposal they have, made this room into an almost leafy grove. With there's one you know how like there's those walls that you excuse me while I plug Amazon for a second. You know that there's those photography walls that are very like leafy green, and you can like put behind you as like a background.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There is one entire wall of this bedroom with the light that is coming in from the outside just sort of shining, and it's almost like a sunburst in this room. And one entire wall, as you approach it, it seems to just very gently move, and then suddenly there's an explosion and a flutter of wings, and you realize that the whole room, that whole wall, is butterflies. And they just sort of flit around, and they sit and on your nose and on your horns, and they all sort of just dance around you. Very like, this is a terrifying image, but the first one that comes to mind, Bruce Wayne entering the Bat Cave, and suddenly the bats are swirling around, but way prettier.
Yeah, there you go.
And
Make it aesthetic.
Yeah. And there is just, it is definitely not the Feywild. It definitely looks like a house elf's like not in the way of Harry Potter, but like an elf who's never been to the Feywild, who's still fairly young, but has heard stories, and this might be what she likes,
Yeah.
kind of thing. They don't hit the mark, but they come pretty close. And where the bed would be in this room, there is instead a bed of flowers that is arranged in a circle.
They gave you a fairy circle.
Atara, you're a bit more difficult. They
Should have
look
put
at
a
you.
sand. Sorry.
No,
Sorry.
different.
Sand.
Yours are very modest furnishings in your room. Nothing taken away necessarily. It's just they aren't entirely sure what to do for somebody who presents as infernal. And it's not like they know that you are, in fact, human. You just happen to make the wrong contract or the right one, depending on how you look at it. And it's almost like they tried to think it through, like, what could this person, how are we hospitable to this person? And so instead they have put together this incredible smorgasbord of different foodstuffs that they have arranged very colorfully on one of the end tables in your room. And it's very much like a very lavish food platter. And from like foods from like all over Odromia, not just the Crystal Expanse.
So
they just don't know.
Yeah, they're like
we don't
this,
usually
this.
have many infernal people here.
Do you want this? Do you like this? Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Amazing.
Fortunately, as somebody who now remembers all aspects of her human heritage, all of it is good.
Yeah.
And the one thing that they did really get right, and it's not that you are atrociously dirty, but there is a very nice sitting iron steaming hot bathtub.
Yeah.
That is like extremely hot.
Perfect.
Like way more than a human would be able to stand, but perfect for a tiefling.
Amazing. That is great. I mean, honestly, they did well. They did well. She will definitely just be thankful for everything that's going on. No, I mean, they did well. They did well. She will look for foods that are familiar to her from Brecca. Just certain types of like jams and regionally dried like meat and things like that. And also she's gonna look for the wine that her family makes and see if that's there at all.
I was going to ask the question, what is the name of your family's most popular wine?
Me not knowing what wines are called. What a great question. I don't know. What is a good deep red wine? Like,
it would have to be known. It would have to be something like the Velour Noir.
There you go.
I was thinking that.
Yeah, it was. I was leaning towards like emeraldy something, but that's perfect. So like,
in an unmarked bottle, which is actually like very promising, because it means that it was bottled separately. It wasn't something that was just some merchant picked up somewhere and was sold. No, this is something that was bottled and decanted separately.
Okay.
And if the spell that restored your memories was not enough, this definitely takes you back, and immediately it's almost like you're walking the vineyards again. Not literally, but like it feels
transported again.
Yes.
We're in black again, everybody. Perfect. Yeah. She'll definitely take like a glass and eat, take a bath, and then I would imagine she just like crashes out. Like she's much more tired than she anticipated.
Fig, what do you do for your portion of the evening?
She'll definitely lay back on the pillows, get herself like, or not the pillows, but like the flowers.
Oh,
Enjoy
I'm
the
sorry. Yes,
ambiance.
there were tons of. I'm sorry. There were tons of heavy pillows that were just strewn all about the room.
Oh, absolutely. So she's all up in that. What she will do as she's still awake, she'll keep the door cracked. She'll lay back on the pillows and flowers, enjoy the butterflies around. She'll pull out her pan flute and just start playing like a lilting melody that hopefully will be loud enough, which is what she is intending. So that way Atara and Elindra are able to hear it, wafting past their room.
I will say that with the drinking the homemade wine and Elindra, you enter this room and it's like there is a flood of so many different memories. Some good, most good. Some less so. But there is sort of this moment of just regret a little bit.
For leaving.
Yeah.
She takes off Daddy's necklace and puts it on her dresser.
Yep. You do that.
And gets into bed.
Yeah. You crawl into your bed. The only thing that feels slightly different is it does feel like they definitely reupholstered your bed while you were gone. Just because, who knows when you might come back. But it is the nicest bed, just like you remember. I'll say that Atara, you find a nightgown that has been like each of you find nightwear that you can wear or not, but has been prepared or laid aside for each of you. And Elindra, you make your way, you get into bed, and it is so comfy.
I've bathed, I've gotten in my nightgown.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you have just crawled into the covers, and you feel both warm and cool all in the same moment. And Fig, you find yourself inside your fairy circle. And you sort of stretch out to your full length, and you
9 feet long.
you just you take all of your space, and it's not home, but it'll do. And Atara, you, even with just sort of the understanding of having all of your memories back, there is still the central sticking point of who actually took your life away.
Yeah.
And all you have as you drift off slowly to sleep is that voice ringing in your ears. The Nightmoors send their regards. And that is where we will leave it for tonight.
Got a hit list now.
Yo. So much.
Thank you all for watching.
Fingers.
Please tune in next time to see what other things we uncover with our amazing characters of Shadows of Ashcaleen. We love you. We hope you have a great rest of your week. And I hope you roll nothing but nat 20s. Love you all. Bye.